Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a big drinker, but guess what? I just found a recipe. Yeah, I was scrolling around when I really shouldn't have been late at night, and I found a recipe to use up some of my rhubarb. It is May, there's gonna be new rhubarb coming in, and I still had rhubarb sitting in my freezer, so I thought, I gotta start using that up. Rhubarb Schnapps, my friends. Rhubarb Schnapps. Never heard of it, never had it, but I figure it takes literally 3 ingredients: rhubarb, sugar, and alcohol. I'm gonna be making mine with a gin, but you can make it with vodka, and I have heard some people make it with Everclear. I just happen to have gin. Now, I'm gonna be halving this recipe because I don't know what it tastes like, and I'm not a big drinker, but if it turns out really good, then some of y'all are gonna be getting some gifts this year. So, the recipe for the full recipe is 1 1/4 pounds of chopped rhubarb. Now, using the reddest rhubarb that you can is the best because you're looking for that really strong pink look. I have a blend of both. I had some tender rhubarb, just like the newer ones frozen, and then I had some really nice cherry red stuff. So I'm gonna use both. What the heck? So 1 1/4 pounds of that, I cut mine back to just a little over a pound, and then 1 1/2 cups of sugar. So you can, I've read that you can increase or decrease the amount of sugar. I am gonna stick around the 3/4 to 1 cup of sugar, just because I feel like rhubarb can be quite bitter. And it's not the sugar, I think, that's the active ingredient here. The active ingredient and the fermenting is coming from the gin. And again, I'm using gin. I did hear that some people worried about the floral taste of gin interfering with the rhubarb, but whatever. I mean, mix it all together. Who cares? It's going to be good, I'm sure. So anyways, if you're using the clear alcohol, you want 1.75 liters of clear alcohol. I'm going to use like just about a little bit less than a liter. Okay, so here's what they say to do. Take your rhubarb and throw it in a sealable jar. Now, for those of you who know me, you know that I'm a jar freak. Yes, this jar has come all the way from Kookanusa in Montana because Vlasic pickles are fantastic in the United States. And they had this huge jar, and we were craving pickles while we were on holidays, and I just could not bear to leave the stupid jar behind. How dumb is that? You can use frozen or you can use fresh. I, of course, am using frozen. I'm not putting in the water from the frozen part. Oh gosh, I don't even have a measuring cup for my sugar. Well, I think this is about 1/2 cup. So we'll go with 2 of these. So we're gonna add the sugar. So that's like about 1 cup. You know what, I'm gonna add a little bit just for love. So that's probably like 1 1/4 cup. I might have put too much sugar in that. We'll find out. Anyways, so put a lid on and give that a shake. So you're just coating all the rhubarb. And now I have, this is supposed to be just under a liter, I believe. Yeah, 750 milliliters. And it's not quite full. Gee, I don't know who got into that. It wasn't me. So I'll probably use all of it. And it doesn't matter. You don't have to have expensive alcohol. It can just be, you know, that stuff that Aunt Ethel brought last Christmas that you just can't stand. But that's not the case here. This is really good gin. Anyways, gonna pour most of this in, and then the magic comes. Putting all of it in. Woo, hello. And give it another shake. So you can see once I strain that, I'm not gonna have a whole bunch of schnapps, which is fine because I don't know what it's gonna taste like. Anyways, keep this in a dry, dark place for about 4 to 6 weeks. So it's almost like making, you know, an extract or a tincture of some sort. So there you go. My friends, us check back in about 4 to 6 weeks and have ourselves some schnapps, shall we? At exactly 4 weeks and maybe a couple of days ago, we started our rhubarb gin, and I'm quite excited to decant this now and maybe taste it. So I have here my handy dandy sieve, and I have just learned a new skill. I was today years old when I realized that a damp cheesecloth actually makes more sense because it conforms to your sieve and it's not gonna, collapse on itself when you start to pour. Who knew? All right, so here we go. I didn't make a whole lot because I didn't know what it was gonna taste like. So, there we go. Sugar kind of, Woo! She smells good, my friends. Okay, let's pour this in. It is a lovely color on the bottom. I will show you that in just a moment. And I am gonna let this actually drain out for about an hour because I wanna make sure I'm getting all the good juices. I read, oh, she's strong. I read somewhere on the internet that you can use this rhubarb pulp for something else. I don't know what I would use that for because they're pretty boozy. So I don't know. Regardless, I'm gonna let that sit for about an hour and then we're gonna come back and put it into this fancy little cordial bottle that I found at a thrift store. I have a little bit of work to do. Of course, they always put stupid stickers that don't come off on there. So I'm gonna get that ready. And yeah, so I'll meet you back here and we'll decant it and take a look at it. Here we are after 1 hour. You can see that I've removed out of my sieve and I've left it go for an hour, but it is still dripping. So, you could probably get another ounce or two off of it if you wanted to leave it longer, but I think I'm good with what I got. When I measure this out in my good old Tupperware thing, it looks like I'm about 3.5 cups of rhubarb gin. It smells fantastic. So let's get it into here and you can see what the color looks like as I pour. Beautiful pink. I am not a gin drinker, so not off the top of my head can I come up with some recipes, but I'm sure if you let your fingers do the tapping on the old web, you might come up with some good ideas. I'm glad I didn't make more than that because look at that. I am going to fill that just perfectly. Ta-da! Okay. Let's get that funnel out of there. Ladies and gentlemen, that is what it looks like. It is so clear. It is very nice. Now, taste test. Let me go and grab some really nice glass because of course it's going to make a difference in the type of glass that you have. Cheers. And when else do you use your crystal liqueur glasses? It's perfect. Okay. Oh, it smells fantastic. Oh, wow. That's delightful. And I'm not a gin drinker. I usually find it a bit too strong. Pair that up with a bubbly water of some kind, whether it's got some lime in it. Gosh, you could even do like any kind of fruit infused sparkling water would be great with that. Hey, I highly recommend this. Guys, get on it. Make yourself some rhubarb cordial. Avoiding the ordinary here at Stonehaven yet again. We'll see you next time.